This developing story out of Cotabato. The military confirms 31 hostages, including 12 minors, were rescued as members of the Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters, or BIFF, fled in the cover of darkness. 4 of them were killed. Here's what happened earlier. BIFF attacked a barangay outpost in Pigcawayan, North Cotabato. The rebels retreated to Malagakit Elementary School, where fighting continued. Cotabato police say the incident is not a spillover of the war in Marawi, nor an effort by terrorists to establish a new front in North Cotabato. We now speak with the spokesperson of the Armed Forces, Brigadier General Restituto Padilla. Good evening, sir. Thank you for taking our call tonight.
Thank you, Mitzi, for having us. Good evening, everyone.
Sir, this is a developing story. So the latest is that 4 BIFF fighters were killed. Can you tell us how that happened? What transpired?
Well, there were these 4 killed based on eyewitness accounts of the hostages themselves, who saw that they carted away with the bodies as they made a hasty retreat. The cover of darkness, I guess, was something that they waited for, knowing that they wouldn't stand a chance if they stood in the current areas that they held within the city or the municipality that they were in. And it was fortunate that all hostages have been accounted for. There were 31 of them, among which were 12 youngsters, and 20 more who were trapped in the area of the school who could not make it out throughout the fighting. The day-long sporadic fight between the group of the BIFF and our troops was something that was the commanders ensured that the BIFF would not go far. But because of the situation of the hostages inside the school building itself, the troops that were around the school could not fire at will in consideration of the safety of all these hostages.
Sir, but, are all the hostages okay? Also the military, are there any injuries or any wounded?
Well, all the hostages are okay. Not one of them had been hurt, and thank God. Among the soldiers, no one is hurt, except for those who were hurt earlier during the anticipated attack that they did in one of our outposts, and these were members of the camp too.
All right, so do you know, so 4 of the BIFF members were killed. Do you have an idea of the numbers? How many of them are out there?
The estimate that we had earlier, about 30 of them took over the school as they made their retreat following that attack. But after we talked to all the hostages, based on the reports coming from General Samarita, the brigade commander, he mentioned that the hostages said no, there were more than 30. There were about close to 50 of them who were holding the school and guarding them. And they have now made their retreat towards Barangay Simsiman, where expected waiting for them are other members of the BIFF who have also been monitored in the area.
Sir, so the Cotabato police say this is not a spillover of the Marawi incident, but are you worried that there could be links to terrorism?
Yes, that's true. What the police, what the PNP has mentioned is actually the same findings that we have. This is not a spillover. This armed elements did not come from within Marawi, and nor are they heading towards Marawi. The BIFF has been known to conduct this harassment, especially following 2 weeks of continued setbacks based on the offensives conducted by government forces against their armed groups who have been monitored in the area. And this will continue on even after this, now that we know that they are there.
All right, sir. So what is the status now? Then how is Cotabato? What is the status there? What are you doing next this evening?
We're closely monitoring this retreat. Members of the BIFF, and a pursuit operation has been launched. The area of the school, by the way, Mitzi, has been cordoned because there are a lot of IEDs that have been left behind by the enemy, and to render it safe for use once again by students and the community, we will have to ensure that each and every IED that was left behind is dealt with.
Oh, a lot remains to be done. Well, thanks for all you do, and thank you for taking our call tonight. Armed Forces spokesman Brigadier General Restituto Padilla, thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and please keep safe, sir. So again, this is a developing story, and as Brigadier General Restituto Padilla just said, 4 BIFF members were killed tonight in operations where they went after them, where earlier this morning they had held 31 hostages, and all hostages have been accounted for, among them 12 minors. And we were also told that the Malagakid Elementary School, which was the area where the hostages were held, is still being cordoned off. So they are still securing the area and making sure that everyone is safe. And so far, there were no injuries. Senators criticized the downgrading of murder charges against police officers involved in the killing of Albuera Mayor Rolando Espinosa. The Senate is considering reopening its investigation on the case, but Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre says this comes with a limitation. Anjo Alimario reports.
Police Superintendent Marvin Marcos, along with his 18 co-accused, walked out of jail after posting bail on June 16th. The Baybay Regional Trial Court in Leyte had granted the Justice Department's motion to downgrade charges against them from murder to homicide. Justice Undersecretary Reynante Orceo penned the resolution which states there was no premeditation in the killing of Albuera Mayor Rolando Espinosa and another inmate while they were detained at the sub-provincial jail. This runs contrary to the Senate report stating Espinosa's death was planned. Several senators did not welcome the ruling.
Kahit na grade 1 ka, dumating yung pulis doon, 25 ata sila, 30. Sinira yung lock, gabi. Meron silang spurious na search warrant. Pagkatapos, pagpasok doon, pinalabas yung mga pulis na gwardiya, pinaluhod, pinatalikod. Tapos nagkamatayan na, ang tawag mo doon. Ba nila ang tao?
Senate President Coco Pimentel says they're looking into reopening the probe on Espinosa's death.
Ask the DOJ, the panel which handled the preliminary investigation, on what convinced them or what moved them to change their mind that the murder was not committed but instead homicide.
But Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre says the Senate has no power to overturn any resolution from the DOJ.
Court lamang ang maaaring makapag-tapi amin, makapag-overturn ng resolution namin.
Aguirre also claims he had no hand in crafting the resolution that downgraded the charges.
Unang-una, hindi ako nag-issue ng resolution na yan. I have not even read the resolution. Ikalawa, I did not sign anything.
But he stands by justice officials.
I believe in my prosecutors, especially yung mga undersecretaries ko. We have to presume that they've performed their duties fairly and in accordance with law.
Aguirre says Espinosa's lawyer can still file a motion for reconsideration and convince the court to uphold the murder raps. President Duterte had vowed to pardon the cops if they are found guilty of wrongdoing in Espinosa's death. Anjo Alimario, CNN Philippines.
The 19 accused in the killing of Albuera Mayor Rolando Espinosa and inmate Raul Yap pleaded not guilty in today's arraignment. Energy officials assure the public there will be no power shortage during the Malampaya maintenance works. The natural gas extraction facility off Palawan in the West Philippine Sea has a scheduled maintenance on July 15th to 16th, Saturday and Sunday, and on September 23rd to the 24th, also a weekend. The maintenance shutdown will temporarily cut natural gas supply to the Santa Rita, Ilihan, and San Lorenzo power plants in Batangas. But the Energy Department says this won't affect power supply as contingency plans are in place. The department adds the maintenance shutdowns won't affect the cost of electricity.
Wala po tayong dapat ikabahala dahil ito po ay nakasynchronize o isinabay doon sa planned maintenance outage ng mga planta rin na maaapektuhan. So nakasynchronize po siya at sinabay yung pagre-repair ng mga planta para matugunan yung demand natin. At kung mapapansin natin, Saturday and Sunday ito dahil sa mga panahong yan, mababa rin yung demand.
The Malampaya Natural Gas Facility contributes to the production of 2,700 megawatts of electricity, supplying more than a third of Luzon's energy requirement. You're seeing and hearing mortar explosions and gunfire and voices. That's a man in black believed to be a mounted terrorist, running as he tries to evade mortar fire. But beyond the scene of a battlefield, the swath of destruction left in the wake of a crisis that has gone on for 30 days in the once beautiful Islamic city. Mounted terrorists have dug in and they're fighting tooth and nail to keep what little they have of Marawi. It's been a month and the battle for Marawi intensifies further. The death toll, 66 government forces, 268 Maute rebels. The military says the Maute group has less than 100 fighters left and they're cornered. Our Camila Abadisho takes us to ground zero.
Thick black smoke billows to the sky as the terrorists resort to fuel bombs to counter the military offensive.
The enemy is now using IEDs sa mga houses and to the extent of using LPG tanks para pagpasok ng tropa, papuputukin nila yung bahay. So lately napansin nyo may mga sunog ngayon ng mga bahay because they're using gasolines and LPGs.
This is why it's taking longer to clear houses and buildings taken over by the terrorists. As government forces advance on the ground, rescue operations continue. The 1st Infantry Brigade rescues 9 civilians, including 3 children as young as 7 months. They have been trapped in the conflict zone for a month.
Galing po sila sa pinakasentro doon sa conflict area. Ito po yung malapit sa Grand Mosque. No? Naglakad po sila na mahigit 1 kilometro at sinusundan po nila yung announcement ng Armed Forces of the Philippines sa kanyang Philippine Army.
Norodin says he's lucky to chance upon the troops.
Parang suicide lang yun. Hindi ko alam kung ano pang matamaan ka o mabuhay. Pero sa awa ng Allah, binigyan po kami niya na mabuhay pa.
Natakot po kami sa mga ISIS.
Naririnig niyo po ba yung putukan?
Opo. At saka yung mga bomba.
The Mautes still have over 100 hostages that they use as human shields and workers.
Yung mga ibang hostages, ginagamit talaga nilang human shield. Ginagamit nila ito during their conduct of operation. Meron pang ang nagsabi na pinapabuhat sila ng mga bomba doon sa paglay sa ground. Okay, so ginagamit nila as manpower. Okay? Ito ngayon masaklap dahil hindi na nga nila, ginawa na nga nilang human shield, talagang ginawa pa nilang mga alalay doon sa area.
Ground Zero is fast becoming a field of explosives, shattered buildings and corpses. The military says most of the areas in the zone of gravity are unsafe for retrieval operations. Authorities are looking for a place to use as a mass grave for all the casualties.
Camila Abadisho, CNN Philippines.
We're also receiving reports that Marines recovered more illegal drugs in Marawi. That's after the military found 11 kilos of shabu earlier this week. Military officials confirm so-called high-value targets, including the Maute brothers and their leader Isnilon Hapilon, are still in the war-torn city. In CNN Philippines' interview with Task Force Marawi spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Joar Herrera, he assures the public that the military is doing everything to secure not just areas regained by the troops, but also nearby cities and towns.
Well, this can be manifested in the areas that we have recovered in the last 48 hours. We have cleared several buildings that were previously occupied by the terrorist groups. So ang ginagawa po natin ngayon ay lahat po ng buildings, houses that were occupied previously are now under the control of the military forces. So yun po yung ginagawa natin. We are gaining more grounds in the conflict area. We are moving forward. We are taking down enemy positions so that our infantry forces will facilitate clearing operations in the conflict area. Well, based sa ating reports, yung high-value targets natin ay nandito pa rin sila sa area. So yun po yung focus natin ngayon is to neutralize the HVTs. At syempre ang pinaka role ng ating ground forces doon is to destroy the center of gravity of the enemy.